Every time Bitcoin moves, people react the same way. They FOMO when it's pumping, panic when it's crashing, and they lose interest when it's boring. But what if the real opportunity isn't predicting the move, it's preparing for it? Because the next Bitcoin move isn't the test, your preparation is. What is up, Bitcoin entrepreneurs? My name is Chris and welcome to the Bitcoin Entrepreneurs Show. So today we have a little bit of a different episode where I'm just kind of going to rant to you about my ideas of what is going to happen within the Bitcoin network relatively soon. And by relatively soon, I mean maybe a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. But what I want to, reiterate here is that we need to keep our Bitcoin safe. We need to have a plan. We need to have a strategy here, whether it's a DCA strategy or whatever your kind of plan is based off of your income, and also keeping your Bitcoin safe, of course. So before we get into all that, I'm just going to promote a few things. First of all, if you are very interested in the Bitcoin topic, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, because it helps the channel out a lot. And also, if you want to, dive a little bit deeper into the Bitcoin network, you can buy my book. And also, if you go onto my website, you can sell my book and get an affiliate commission in Bitcoin. So I will literally send you Bitcoin for whatever you sell of my book. The 25% commission rate that you would get from signing up on my website, all these things are in the description. With that, let's just get right into the topic. So we are at a bit of a dip, right? We're in a dip in the Bitcoin network. We're at something like $63,700. Hold on, let me give it a second look right now. Refresh. Just hold on, my friends. We'll get the exact Bitcoin price for you. $64,179 is the Bitcoin price as I speak right now. So that is relatively low if we're going to talk about our past times that we've been dealing with the Bitcoin network, obviously. So we've been, the high was about $126,000 and it was in October. So obviously that was about like 8 months ago. Something like that, a little over 8 months ago, actually, I think. But Bitcoiners are not going to lose faith, right? A lot of people have lost tons of faith in the Bitcoin network because we've been seeing many consecutive days of ETF withdrawals, and it seems people are just losing faith in a network. But I honestly, deeply down, I feel like that people just are not understanding what we have here, right? The Bitcoin network is a unicorn in terms of invention, you can call it, or a discovery, other people call it, for the financial system, that it's different than everything else. And why is it different? It's different because it's a global free market. It's completely decentralized. There's no middleman here, and there's a supply cap to it. And when you factor in, with all that being said, when you factor in things like the government, institutions, massive companies, treasury companies are buying Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So for example, we just had the biggest IPO that's ever existed in SpaceX. And they also released that they own almost 19,000 Bitcoin. So the most successful company in the world is buying Bitcoin. Also, major banks are buying Bitcoin. Major banks are participating in the network, and they're also they're also informing their clients to put a certain percentage of Bitcoin onto their portfolios. So that's huge, right? These are all factors into why you would want to join this growing free market network, because we've never had a global free market. We've never even really had a free market. We're dealing with the US dollar. The US dollar is garbage. I mean, if you don't know a lot about these types of markets or financial things or economics, you might just be saying, like, what is this idiot on the internet saying? about the US dollar being shit. It's absolutely shit. I mean, we're so deep in debt in the US. We're so reliant on other countries for different resources, like oil, for example. This is a perfect scenario because I talked about this like many videos ago, like weeks and weeks and weeks ago, maybe even months ago. Talked about these types of things with the Iran conflicts and such. We're having to tap into our oil reserves now. Like these are big problems. The dollar is such a problem for a functioning society to use as a money because it's such a shit version of money because of the fact that they took it off the gold standard. So what we're dealing with here is a Bitcoin influx of money. Like money is going to come into the Bitcoin network. It's going to keep flowing into the Bitcoin network. This means that the price point that we're at right now is such a massive opportunity because it's the best asset that you can have. It's the most scarce. It's global. If you're not a Bitcoiner and you don't keep a lot of tabs on these types of things, you wouldn't know that massive infrastructure is being built around the Bitcoin network. Governments are buying in massively. Other countries are buying in massively. I've talked about El Salvador, but even other countries are buying into Bitcoin. It's becoming an actual money. They're giving out mortgages backed on Bitcoin. Like these are massive things. If you don't think that the Bitcoin network is going to explode based on these factors, then you just don't understand how supply and demand and economics work. And I don't mean that in like a rude way. I'm just saying if you are on, you're just working your job, doing your thing, and you don't really know about economics, and you just go, oh, the US dollar is what we use and it's what's normal. You're going to miss out on what kind of an opportunity we have right now within the Bitcoin network. Because my opinion is that we're going to have a big boom. And like I said in the beginning, I don't know if it's going to be a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. I don't have a magic crystal ball that's able to tell me these things. But what I do know is that based on the principles of economics and principles of what a good money is, Bitcoin is the best money. Hands down. There's no arguing this. Like, people who just don't understand the Bitcoin network are going to shunt it. Obviously, they're going to tell you that it sucks and whatever else, but it's just really not the case, right? So the fact that the Bitcoin price is at a lower level right now is a sign that we potentially are going to have a massive bump very soon, and this is your chance to get into the network. By the way, this is not financial advice, right? I should have said that in the beginning of the video. I'm so bad at that. But it's also freaking 90 degrees in this room right now. I really should get some airflow in here because it's a really hot day out here. Also, before I get deep into this again, let me just say, touch some grass, people. Get outside, do your things. I know a lot of you are deeply into the Bitcoin network and deeply into different markets. Man, enjoy the outside. Not everything has to do with monetary stuff. We're not super materialistic here. I mean, we're talking about Bitcoin, obviously, and we love Bitcoin, but you got to get outside. You got to have family. You got to do other things. You got to find some hobbies, right? Just want to keep all of you financially sound because at the end of the day, who would want to go to work because you have to when you can spend time by a pool with your kids or your wife or your husband or whoever? We're a fully neutral show here at the Bitcoin Entrepreneurs. And the whole point of being a Bitcoiner is the idea that you can be free from shitty financial systems that drag you down and instead enjoy a system that will help you. So, let's get right into that. One thing you have to do as a Bitcoiner is you have to understand how to secure your wealth in the Bitcoin network. Now, the best way to secure your Bitcoin is through cold storage. And cold storage, what I mean by this is I've made a video about cold storage, but cold storage is the safest way to keep your private keys, because you have your private keys that control your entire Bitcoin stack on the blockchain. The cold storage scenario of it would be that your Bitcoin is safely locked away on the blockchain, and it's on the blockchain specifically. It's not in any exchange. It's not on any like app or anything like that. It's on the blockchain. The blockchain exists whether you like it or not. The blockchain exists whether banks like it or not. The blockchain exists in cyberspace, right? If you've seen the Wolf of Wall Street, I'm pretty sure Matthew McConaughey says in it, it's a woozy, it's a wazy, it's fairy dust. And also, Jack Mallers has said this before. Like, the blockchain exists in cyberspace. It's all around us. It's data. So you keep your Bitcoin directly onto the blockchain. And the only way you can access that Bitcoin is through the private key. And you have to keep your private key safe. And now there's many ways to do this, because you can either have a private key or you can have a sort of card like Tangem, which 10% off your Tangem wallet, link in the description. But Tangem is the way I hold my private keys, so I would like to say that. It's held on a chip on a card that looks like a debit card, and you just got to keep that safe, and it'll hold your Bitcoin safely forever, away from hacks and away from anybody that's trying to steal it, like including governments. So this is why it's super important to have your Bitcoin on cold storage. You want your Bitcoin in your control completely with your private keys, because if you just have your Bitcoin on like Kraken or Coinbase or crypto.com or whatever app you use to be able to buy your Bitcoin, even if it's like Cash App or PayPal or something like that, and you want to buy Bitcoin, you don't own the Bitcoin. Like, whatever company you're using has the private keys. If you do not have your private keys, then you do not own the Bitcoin. So this is like the first step, is like you need to be able to keep your Bitcoin safe. And the idea is, even if you only have like $500 worth of Bitcoin, then, which would be something like 0.00, I don't know, whatever the number would be, but like something like 0.1 Bitcoin, a lot of people would say would be generational wealth. Something like 0.01 Bitcoin over a long enough amount of time would still be something like generational wealth. Because what people don't realize is we have a capped system here. There's only 21 million coins that will ever exist in the Bitcoin network. When you have tons of demand into a network like Bitcoin, the more people that are buying in, including all the rich people, so for example, all the banks are buying in, this is only going to help you, because the whole point would be, let's say you own one Bitcoin. Now, obviously, most people won't be able to own one Bitcoin. That's like a lot of money. A lot of people don't have that, right? A lot of people are struggling. One Bitcoin would equal 1/21 millionth of the network. Now, imagine if you had all major institutions, governments, many governments across the board, many companies, banks owning Bitcoin, putting all their capital, a lot of money, flushing into the Bitcoin network. Forever, you would own 1/21 millionth of the entire network. So that is a massive amount of wealth into the future, because 1/21 millionth is a large stakeholding into the biggest and best monetary network that's ever existed. A lot of people don't understand this idea of scarcity. Scarcity is something that drives price in a network like this, because the scarcity brings a lot of value to the table. If Bitcoin, let's just bring up an example here. If Bitcoin hit $10 million, anybody who has 0.1 Bitcoin becomes a millionaire, right? That's a big deal, because 0.1 Bitcoin isn't a ton of money. It's not. It's like It's like $6,000 or something. Point one Bitcoin, $6,600. It's something like that. Like, it's not that much. Or 63, whatever the price is right now, 64, 63, it fluctuates. Volatile network, right? But that's the whole point, is you have to be able to hold it and keep it completely safe within cold storage. I mean, I don't want to say this is like easy mode, because you have to go through all the volatility. But what I'm saying is, you got to be able to get into the network. You have to be able to secure your Bitcoin in the safest way possible, which is cold storage. I'm promoting cold storage devices. So if you go to my website, I've got a link for Ledger. The description down below, I could put the Ledger link. I could put the Tangem link. These are cold storage wallets, and these are high-level cold storage wallets. Don't take my word for it. Verify it for yourself. Find your own values and whatever you want. But if you want to support the channel, then go down and use my Tangent promo code or click my Ledger link. You can do other things, obviously, too. Like, you don't just have to trust me. Go and get a cold card. Go and get a Trezor device. Like, whatever you want to do, get a cold storage device. That's all I'm saying here. You want to keep your Bitcoin safe, get a cold storage device. The market sets the price, right? And clearly we're in a scenario right now where in 2026, where people are buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin's becoming huge. We're not seeing it in the price yet, but once there is a correction, we're going to see it huge. So if Bitcoin's at 60 something thousand and it goes to 300,000, you're going to regret not buying in. And I don't want this to sound like some like pyramid scheme. Like, I'm going to benefit if you buy Bitcoin, but also you're going to benefit. Like, the whole point here is we're dealing in a separate network than the US dollar. But the US dollar is in such a massive problem right now. It's in such trouble. The debt is completely insolvent. In order for them to start to pay off the debt, they would have to make a profit of like $2 to $5 trillion a year. I could be wrong on that. Again, verify for yourself. Don't listen to some idiot on the internet babbling into a camera, right? The debt is completely insolvent. We're in a conflict with Iran. We're dealing with a oil crisis. We're having to tap into our oil reserves. This is a massive problem. Eventually, the U.S. government is going to have to print to be able to recover from what is happening. When they do that, the dollar gets debased. The higher the M2 money supply, the less your dollar is worth. Now, I don't mean the less your dollar is actually like worth. Like, the dollar, a dollar is still going to be a dollar, but the purchasing power that it holds is going to be way less. So if you want to be able to buy beef and it's $5 right now, I don't even know what the prices are on beef right now, but like, if you wanted to buy beef and they print more money, add more money to the M2 money supply, add more dollars, then the purchasing power of your dollars are going to go way down. And then so beef is going to go, maybe $8 per pound or whatever. I don't even know what the prices are for beef. I'm just using beef as an example because, like, you can't print cows, right? It takes time and it takes effort and it takes, you have to actually do something to be able to make the cow worthwhile with milk or with beef or with whatever type of product you're dealing with. So you didn't get a raise at work that's equivalent to the upscaling of what beef would cost. Like, I hope that makes sense, but you're losing if you're holding in the US dollar. Like, if you have all your savings in the dollar, you're losing. Now, if you have savings in something like the stock market, then you're going to get some sort of an increase, but it's just based on what the debasement level is. Like, if the inflation level is too high and it outpaces something like the S&P 500 in the stock market, then you're still losing money. you're mitigating it a little bit, but you're still losing money. The idea with Bitcoin is that you have a you have a global economy, you have a global free market. Anybody can join, anybody can sell, anybody can do anything on the market. But you also have a capped supply. So there's no printing here. So in theory, the price is going to go up forever. And don't trust me on this. Again, do your research. Start researching Bitcoin. Like I'm recommending to you a ton to start researching Bitcoin, because if you don't, and if you keep dealing with the dollar system, you're guaranteed to lose. And then everybody gets mad and upset and depressed, and it's a big problem because you're not making an equivalent increase at your job. And trust me, I know this firsthand. Like I work a full-time job. Like I don't do this full-time. I do this every Saturday. I would love to do this full-time, but I can't get monetized yet, right? I mean, unless you hit the subscribe button and you help me out here, I'm doing this for the public. I'm doing this for people to be able to figure out the Bitcoin network, and encouraging people to join the Bitcoin network, and trying to give tools out that'll help people make that'll help make it easier for people. The whole point in this video is just the idea that we're at such a low price right now. This is such a big opportunity, and we might not ever get an opportunity like this, because of the fact that if we're at 64, damn, I'm all over the place today, $64,000 Bitcoin price today. It was down at like 59,000 recently, right? But then the all-time high was 126. So we've had drawdowns in many years, like 2013, 2017, 2021 to 2024. And obviously in 2026, the same type of thing is happening. But what we see with these scenarios is when there are big drawdowns like this, the next move of the Bitcoin market, and again, like I said, I'm not talking about in 2 weeks it's going to go up. I'm saying a year, 2 years, 5 years, whatever the time frame is, when we have these big drawdowns, but we're still having massive influx into the market, the price typically across history has gone up. And a lot of these analysts are saying that Bitcoin could go to 300,000. Bitcoin's going to go to 200,000, based on these charts, because we're also in a power law within the Bitcoin network. And again, these are things that a lot of people might not know. I mean, I can't even say I know them to a deep extent. I didn't go to college. I'm not highly educated in mathematics and stuff. I know a lot about Bitcoin. I've been studying economics a lot, but I'm just some guy on the internet. Again, I say verify all this. This is not financial advice. I want you guys to just take the information I'm saying and then figure it out for yourself. But I'm just trying to encourage that Bitcoin is a massive, incredible, global free market, capped network. We've never had anything this extraordinary, and we're at a major point, in my opinion, because we're at a drawdown right now. Typically, with the drawdowns are also associated with the rises of the Bitcoin network. So I'm not saying it's going to go to 200 tomorrow. I'm not saying it's going to go to 300,000 next week. What I'm saying is, if you do believe in the network, get your Bitcoin off exchanges, get your Bitcoin into cold storage, turn your DCAs on. You can use Strike, you can use Cash App. There are many other apps you can use to turn your DCAs on. Get into the market, trust your own thought processes. If you believe in Bitcoin, then that's your gut is telling you something, because you understand that you're in a system of the dollar that's crumbling. It's a horrible system. My biggest advice to you, and I'll give you a couple steps here maybe, is just buy a cold storage wallet, get your Bitcoin off exchanges, put it into cold storage, keep your private keys as safe as you could possibly do it, okay? Read blogs, research, Listen to the people in the Bitcoin network that are trying to help you the most. Keep your Bitcoin safe, and in the next 10 to 20 years, you'll be financially secure. If you have a capped supply of a global free market asset that is in major demand and has massive amounts of utility, you can't lose. I'm extremely bullish on the Bitcoin network, and I just want to spread the word and be able to help people to become financially free within Bitcoin, because there hasn't been an opportunity like this since, maybe like the dot-com bubble. But the thing with the dot-com bubble is you could have bought Amazon or Walmart or whatever the other scenarios would be, but that you're still buying into like a centralized system that's built on top of what was the real massive change, which was the internet. But just like the internet is a protocol where it runs on an HTTPS protocol, every single website you go to, it's either going to say HTTP or HTTPS. There's no other internet. It's a protocol. And then there was layers built on top of that. Bitcoin is the monetary protocol, and it is emerging, and it is huge. And we have governments, banking institutions buying into Bitcoin. And the price isn't necessarily reflecting this yet, and so it makes people think that Bitcoin is not a good asset, and a lot of people are jumping off the boat, and that's probably a lot of the reason why the price is going down. But let me just tell you, when the price catches up with all the institutional adoption and government adoption that's happening, a lot of the people that jumped off the boat are going to be completely back on board, but they are going to have lost a ton of money. And this is typically what happens. So this was a bit of a rant today, as opposed to just reading data points, because I really wanted to just reiterate the idea that we're in a scenario right now where you can buy into the Bitcoin network, you can keep your Bitcoin safe, you can hold it for long term, and I can almost say that I would, based on the economic principles that I know and love, based on thermodynamics, based on physics, this is the best monetary system that has ever existed. It makes perfect sense, and in my opinion, many people are going to come into the Bitcoin network over time, but everybody gets Bitcoin at the price they deserve. So I guess I'm going to end this rant here, because I can't tell you enough how much I believe in this network, and that I just believe that I can help people by spreading some of this information. And even though I have a super small YouTube channel, I believe that I can build this thing up, promote the network, help individuals, and I appreciate everybody that has been watching along the way. And I'm going to keep growing this. I'm going to do this every single Saturday. So today is June 13th, 2026. I'm going to have a new video that's going to be coming out tonight, and then this video you will see in the next week into the future. With all that being said, I appreciate all of you being here and just watching me rant and have my little episodes here. I have started different social media accounts. I've started an Instagram, a TikTok, and a Pinterest. So if you are interested in the shorts content, I have shorts on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and Pinterest. And then I also have my blogs and my book listed on Pinterest as well. I will put all these links in the description. You can also get 10% off of Tangem Cold Storage Wallet in my description below if you use my promo code. And also you can buy my book. And if you are interested in my book and you need a Bitcoin product for maybe one of your social medias, you can sign up to be an affiliate on my website and you'll get a 25% commission for every book you sell. And I will send directly to your wallet, I will send you Bitcoin for 25% commission. So with all that being said, I appreciate you watching. Please, if you are interested in Bitcoin topics, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Also, press a like on this video. It'll help in the algorithm a lot. I appreciate you all. Please come and see me next week. I will be here again, and peace.